So right now I'm just using the Anesthetic to just gently scrub, just wet her hair. And this is not a sterile procedure, but it should be as clean as possible. It's just harder with longer hair.
What's the indication for this lady for the hair?
So she just has diffusely thinning hair. Her Ludwig scale is more of a 1.
Okay.
She has a little bit of thinning here and at the crown. Do you have anybody in the family that's bald or?
My mom has really thin hair, so as she's aged.
Yeah, so
yeah.
the lack of.
Yeah.
Okay, so as best as possible, we're going to just put her hair up like that. And in her case, I do have a surgical marker that I'll just demonstrate. You can use that as your line, but not necessarily up in here. You obviously know where to go here, but I'm just going to mark where we're going to inject, just so we stay kind of focused on
You
that.
can inject on the marker.
Yeah, just around the marker as well. And it washes off, it's nothing permanent. Along the forehead, you just want about a finger breadth below the hairline where you're gonna treat, and that should be plenty. So I'll just go straight across here.
You show it again.
Yeah, just like going straight across here. She has a little bit of a peak right here, but I'll just go straight across. Now, the injections for the subcutaneous, they're tender. Okay, so just warning you. I've tried everything to try to make them better, but what works is some sort of distraction device. So this vibrator thingy is gonna help you distract from the pain, and there's no waiting for BLT to work or anything like
Okay.
that. So this is the dental syringe that we have. It has the medication in it. So the medication comes in these glass tubes with a little plunger on the side. And this has a spring-loaded harpoon. So you just insert and it's ready to go. And the needles, the dental needles, have 2 needles. This is the injecting side, and this is the side that pierces the glass little syringe here. And they screw into this. So the needle goes here. And it's ready to go. She has a pillow. I think we're okay, but if you want to hug the pillow, that might be
Is
it.
it that bad?
I'm going to start from one temple and work myself all the way around, and then leave the forehead for last. Thank you. So if you want to see, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just show you first. I'm going to inject here and go all the way to the hub, and then press the plunger as I'm injecting out. So I'm creating like a long bleb. Okay. So first poke. And you can feel the bleb, and right at the end of the bleb you just insert your needle again and then connect the dots. How's that?
Not bad at all.
Okay. So, of course, guys are a little bit different in their pain tolerance. So, but as we do use the bless you, the vibrating device really helps with any kind of pain procedure. We've used it with laser procedures, all kinds of things, and it works well. So once you're done with the syringe, just carefully reattach that, unscrew. Typically it will take about 5 of these to go all the way around, but if you have a little bit extra, it's fine, because you might get a spot that didn't anesthetize very well.
Allergic reactions to this?
If they're allergic to any of the canes, that would be a problem. It has a little bit of epi, so I've had a few people say that they feel a little bit funny, and that's the epinephrine part. So it's just like anything, it wears off. feel it. You can feel the bleb right there. So you just inject into the edge of the bleb. And she's tolerating this really well.
She's not even missing.
I
I
know.
don't feel hardly
She's
anything.
tough. So just to compare, don't use the vibrator thingy and see if you can tell a difference between.
Yeah, I can feel a little bit more.
Yeah. So
Yeah, the
This is-
vibrating thing.
So these are all subcutaneous. I mean, there's not a lot of tissue back here, so you'll hit the bone if you go too far up on an angle. Yeah.
You tell us what we
Works.
got there?
Yeah, so
So
this
we
is the
don't
other great
have
thing about
any
this kit with the M-Site, the flexibility. So we originally wanted to draw 60. Unfortunately, couldn't get that, but again, the flexibility of this system, we still not, we got by with 30, we can still get, as you can see, we still got 7 cc's of very good concentrated with still some PP left, so.
So is that
Normally on a 60, you would have the same 7, but more concentrated, but you'd have a lot more. You'd probably have about 12 to 15 of the platelet core.
And that's all you've got for the PPP? Okay. We'll use it.
But we,
Okay, so here's our exosome product or whatever product, and we have it drawn up
yeah,
into here, and you mix it with a lure to lure with your PRP.
that's a new one. I haven't seen those. I like it.
Now, this product does not have any cells, big cells in them, so it's not gonna clot immediately. If it had cells, it would create a clot and you're done. You can't do anything with that. So.
Before you move on, one of the reasons that exosomes are really popular, not just because of what they have in them, the information and everything, but because they're not cells, they're very, very, very small. So it doesn't matter what size needle you use, you're not going to lyse or kill any of the components. So they don't care about a blood-brain barrier, they don't, they're 450 nanometers.
They're coming from the amniotic fluid or the.
These are
Yes.
amniotic
Yeah.
derived, yes.
So,
They're
yeah.
not cultured, they're just, the amniotic fluid has billions of exosomes. So that's the main product that we offer.
Yeah.
Starting with her front first, because that's one of her troubled areas. And I'm just doing about 1 centimeter apart, little aliquots. And I want to get like a full coverage first, and then if there's extra, I'll come back and re-inject that area.
So everything underneath that circle where you injected the first time, the epi and
Everything is numb.
everything.
Everything is numb. If there's a sore spot, she's like, oh, I feel that. I go back and I re-inject that little spot. But all the nerves come from below, okay? So by creating a whole ring block, any nerve that transverses that ring is gonna be blocked, okay? The difference between this procedure and, this type of anesthesia versus some people will do the supraorbital one, that one only goes about partial, and then if you're trying to treat in the back, they feel it. Plus, I don't want to get into anybody's eyeballs. I don't want to cause any droopy eyelids or
And this
anything.
will last for 4 hours, you said?
Oh, yeah. The procedure is at most an hour.
Are you feeling any of that, Brandy?
No.
So she's going to go and talk to her friends and say,
Yeah.
I didn't feel it at all, which is nice. So just trying to do little rows. And sometimes you'll have a little pinpoint bleeding so you can see where you were. But her sides are front and sides are kind of where I'm focusing on. Okay, so these are from a pharmacy in New York City called Master Farm. And this is the dexpanthenol, and you want to do, it's a brand new bottle, so.
So dexpanthenol is going to.
It's a vitamin, so it's a good vitamin for the hair. And Master. So the dexpanthenol, you're gonna do 0.5 mLs, and the calcium chloride is 0.2 mLs. And you mix that with PPP, ideally a little bit more than this, but it's enough to do the job. Do we have any alcohol swabs or something? Yes, we did. Okay, sorry. It is. You can get single dose, but they're a little bit more expensive.
So what's the dosage per ml?
For dexpanthenol,
Yes.
it's on
Yeah,
here.
it's on there. It's a
It's 250 milligrams per milliliter.
so your dexpanthenol and your calcium chloride are in here. You activate your PPP.
Microneedling?
No, normally I have about 7 to 8 of PPP to do a whole once over, but I only have 3. So I'm gonna have to spread it out throughout her whole scalp. And then the rest would be used for microneedling. But if I can get some saline, we can use some saline to do the final step, which is the microneedling.
I might.
Through a hair follicle.
How deep are you going?
This is 0.75.
0.75
And,
of a millimeter?
Yes. And so would just the saline just drip a little bit here? Just a few drops right in.
Do you change the depth based on male versus female or any of those?
No, I kind of keep it very superficial. You don't want to go very deep. What you're doing is just trying to stimulate the collagen and the PRP to activate. Go ahead, right in here, just drip some there.
Is this a saline?
This is just saline, yeah. Normally I would use the PPP that's left over.
If you had extra PPP, you don't have to actually inject that PPP.
You just use it, in the scalp, and it's like a liquid Band-Aid. Now you know you're getting a good response because I'm getting a little pinpoint bleeding right in here from the microneedling. It's not bleeding very much.
It gets absorbed with the microneedling process?
What was that?
Does this PPP get absorbed? Does the saline go inside now? Or
Yeah, the
just for a
saline
wash?
is just, it's just to lubricate. So right in
Okay.
here. Yeah. And then if there was any microbleeding, it would heal it right away. Let's get some right in here.
So the needles are
The needle.
in and out with the perpendicular range, depending on the speed setting. It's about 6,000 to 8,000.
So it's a little bit difficult to see, but in somebody that is like really has a lot of hair loss, you can see a lot of scalp. Their scalp should be nice, uniformly pink after this microneedling. Yeah, because then you know you got every little bit. It's just right now it's really hard to see. You can see it a little bit more in her temples. And I mean, the way it's set up, you could do the whole scalp. You just want to make sure that you cover your trouble areas first, and then anything extra would be for the good coverage. And that's it.
You're done?
We're done. We just cleaned it up. And then when she goes home and washes her hair, she can get into it a little bit more. She'll notice some dried blood, but it's not actively bleeding.
Do you give her, are there specific shampoos or?
Yeah, so again, I mean, just you want to make sure that they're not going to use their home shampoo, like anything bought cheap with sulfates in it. But there are specific shampoos that are very, very good. John Carl had mentioned one here. I think it's the Ontogeny. Is it Ontogeny C or something like that? Has a really good product. And that one has human stem cells, right?
Factors.
Yeah, stem cell factors, right? It's not.
Is that what you use in your office as well?
pills, we've tried all kinds. Some of them have different things like saw palmetto or green tea, things like that.
So if Brandy was getting ready to leave the office, can you go through the things that you tell her or anybody of what to do, what not to do?
Correct. So again, no NSAIDs or fish oil products for, if they're on aspirin for cardiac reasons, that's fine. But, you know, you don't want them taking a lot of ibuprofen or Motrin for 2 weeks to let these platelets do their thing. And a simple shampoo at home afterwards is fine. Sleep upright for a day or two, but probably just a day. And then if they have a laser cap, to go ahead and use that daily, twice a day if possible. And come back in 3 months.
And what do you do in 3 months?
We recheck, so I would recheck her hair, take more pictures, measure her hair if you can, but at least the pictures. You want to take the picture, because that's hard for them to see. When they look at themselves every day.
And this continues for 1 year?
What was that? For 1 year, yeah.
And do we repeat the process?
You can, in a year. 9 to 18 months is typically where we are. For the alopecia areata patients, you want to do it every 6 months perhaps, depending on their budget.
How much does it cost?
This one, about 3,000, depending on what we've used.
Can you do touch-ups with just like PRP and GPP?
You could,
Like,
but
no
you don't
line?
need to with this procedure, you don't need to.
So Brandy what was the experience like?
It was easy. I hardly felt the numbing medicine at all. And after that, I didn't feel a thing. So it was really easy. It was next to no pain.